Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Most people today know Jessica-Tandy in Driving Miss Daisy. Most people today know Hume-Cronyn for his role in Cocoon. But they were actually stars of the big stage. They were stars on Broadway in many productions. But in 1953-54, they did this program for NBC, The Marriage, January 10th, 1954, the 15th in the 39-episode series, where they spend the weekend in Vermont reflecting upon their time together.
Jessica-Tandy and Hume-Cronyn in The Marriage. With the conviction that marriage remains the most popular domestic arrangement between friendly people, NBC takes pleasure in presenting one of the most distinguished couples of the American theater, Jessica-Tandy and Hume-Cronyn as Liz and Ben Marriott, bringing you the love and laughter of the marriage.
I heard someone say once that childhood is a prison sentence with time off for good behavior. I suppose a lot of people feel like that. They remember the unhappiness, the fight to grow up, and they forget the warmth and good times completely. Thomas Wolfe wrote a novel called You Can't Go Home Again, but people keep trying. In our case, it all started with an ad in the Sunday Times. I showed it to Liz after the kids had gone to bed.
Two stir, cupcud, two ack, wool, root. What is it, Ben? The Japanese Naval Code?
It's a real estate ad.
Oh.
2-story Cape Cod on 2 acres.
Oh. What's wool? Sounds ferocious.
Garage and a well.
Oh.
You know, that ad's very interesting. A client came into the office today.
That is interesting. And about time.
Cut it out, dear. He wanted me to handle buying this house for him. You'll never guess where it is.
Tanganyika?
You're warm. Vermont.
Oh, really?
Cardiff, Vermont.
Ben, Cardiff.
How long is it since you were back there?
Oh, 15 years.
Well, I may have to go up there this weekend to search the title and complete the sale.
Oh, beautiful out there this time of year. There's probably snow.
Probably.
And skiing.
That's right.
And the mountains. Ben.
It's all arranged, darling. We can leave on Friday.
But the children.
I called your mother this afternoon. She said she'd stay here over the weekend.
Oh, Ben, it's like a vacation. 3 whole days alone. Oh, is your client coming?
No. Mr. Ramdan has a conference at Columbia.
Ramdan? That's an unusual name.
He's an Indian.
Indian? A tomahawk Indian?
No, a turban Indian.
Oh.
He came here with the UN. Now he's teaching at Columbia. You should have seen him. A beard and a purple turban. Quite a sensation at the restaurant where we had lunch.
Oh, Ben.
What's the matter?
A purple turban in Cardiff, Vermont? I wonder. Ben, there's a place on the left.
Where?
Oh, never mind. We passed it. Ben, I'm hungry.
Well, we'll stop at the next place.
You said that when we left New Haven. We are now approaching the Vermont border.
What was wrong with that diner outside of Hartford?
It wasn't clean.
How could you tell? We went by it at 50 miles an hour.
I can tell. It just didn't feel clean. Ben, there. Harry's Chop House.
Where?
On the left.
I can't get over. There's a car passing me.
Oh,
What do
Ben.
you want me to do? Jump over him?
I wonder if nylon seat covers are very nourishing.
Darling, we'll stop at the next place no matter what. All right?
It's all right. I've lost the will to survive.
There's bound to be a place soon.
Ben, why does Mr. Ramdan want a house in Vermont?
He's taking a sabbatical next year to write a book. After that, he'll use it in the summers.
But why Vermont?
I don't know. He saw the ad. It's far enough away from New York to be reasonable.
Do you think Cardiff will be very reasonable?
It's a good price.
That isn't what I mean. You don't know Vermonters too well.
I married one.
I'm not really a Vermonter, not anymore. But they're very Vermont.
What are you getting at?
I've been thinking about the people from Cardiff. They haven't gotten over the border war with New York State, and that was in 1778.
Come on, you're exaggerating.
I can't imagine an Indian with a purple turban walking into Mr. Harris's grocery.
Look, Mr. Ramdan is a very charming and intelligent man. He can get along anywhere. He's been all over the world.
He hasn't been in Cardiff for months.
Well, can't be any more dangerous than the Khyber Pass.
I'm serious, Ben. You can tell when you're in Vermont. It's a subtle, insidious change in the atmosphere. What's the matter, Ben?
A subtle, insidious change in the highway. We've crossed the state line into Vermont. Hello there? Hello?
Is there anybody here?
There must be. Lights are on in the gas pumps.
Oh, maybe he's out back.
Hope so. I want to find out where we are.
I know exactly where we are, Ben. The turn off the highway is by an old covered bridge. I remember it perfectly.
You also remembered the shortcut around Brattleboro perfectly. It certainly went around Brattleboro and around several times.
They changed the road. That isn't my fault.
I'd better go and look for somebody. Oh, cold.
You don't mind it as much up here. It's dry cold.
5 above 0 is cold, wet or dry.
Here comes somebody around the building.
Hello? Hello there? He didn't even look up.
He can't hear you. His ear flaps are down.
He's seen us. Hi there. Do you sell gas?
Yep.
Good, we're down pretty low. Would you mind filling the tank with premium?
Yep.
You mean you would mind?
Uh-huh.
Why?
Ain't got no premium. Delivery truck broke down over to Jamaica.
Well, why didn't you tell me?
You didn't ask.
Oh. Well, look, maybe you can help me. How do we get to Cardiff from here?
Well, if I was going to Cardiff, I wouldn't start from here.
Oh, you wouldn't?
What happened to the old covered bridge by the Whalenet Road?
Burned down 5 years ago. You a Vermonter?
Well, I grew up in Cardiff.
Oh. I could give you some regular gas.
But you said you didn't have any.
I don't. No premium.
Why didn't you tell me that you hadn't? Never mind. I know. I didn't ask.
Yeah. Fill her up, you said.
See what I mean? He got one look at your out-of-state license.
Oh, that can't be it. Maybe he's got indigestion.
Ben, that's what I'm telling you. I remember when I was a little girl how cold everything was. People just don't give themselves. I keep thinking of that purple turban.
I thought you loved Vermont.
I do. I mean, I love the traditions of individuality and the countryside. But you've just got to face reality.
Check your oil?
No, it's all right. But I'm afraid the windshield's a little dirty.
Yeah, sure is. You ought to clean it sometime.
Well, I just thought I'd mention it. What do I owe you?
$3.70. Should have filled up in Massachusetts. No tax.
Shows the changes, no tax in Massachusetts. January 10th, 1954, Jessica Tandy and hume-cronyn, The Marriage on Classic Radio Theater.
You know, if you feel like you're stuck with a health care plan you don't like, right now is a great time to switch to MediShare. They'll waive your new member fee if you join by January 15th. So that's $170 in addition to all the other savings. The typical family saves $500 or more per month. And MediShare has double the customer satisfaction rate when compared to health insurance. Double. Again, join by January 15th and save even more. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE.
Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station. Now more The Marriage, starring Jessica Tandy and hume-cronyn, from January 10th, 1954.
Ethan Allen Motel. Looks all right. Clean.
Anything looks all right to me now.
We can stay here and go out to the house in the morning. Come on.
Oh.
I'll get the bags later. The office seems to be down here.
Close the door. Don't want to heat the whole valley.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is in a draft. Took Mr. Partridge off 5 years ago. My husband. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't grieve none now. Grief past a year is just a bad habit.
We'd like a cabin for the night.
I figured that was it. $6 a night, double with a shower.
Well, that's fine.
You got luggage?
It's out in the car.
Got to be careful. Man and wife?
Of course.
Ain't so much a course as you might think. Been married long?
Yes, 17 years.
Then you're not likely to be carrying a copy of the license?
I'm afraid not.
Well, I'll just have to chance it.
We could show you pictures of our children.
That don't signify. Anybody can carry pictures.
Now, look here.
Ben,
There's no reason
Ben, it's perfectly all right, Mrs. Partridge, really.
I don't have much choice. You cater to foreigners, and you got to expect this sort of thing.
Madam, we're very tired. We drove all the way from New York City.
New York City?
Can't we have a bed?
All right. Right this way. Cabins is plain, nothing fancy. I hold with simple things. So did Mr. Partridge, till just before he passed on. Sent for me that last night, made me promise to get him a bronze casket with silver handles. Said he wasn't going snapping around hell in no plain pine box.
I can understand that. He wanted to make a lasting impression.
Yeah? Oh, one thing more.
Yes?
Pay in advance.
Ben? Ben, you asleep?
Yes.
My mattress is lumpy.
I think I've got Mr. Partridge's pine box.
Ben, can you imagine Mr. Ramdan meeting Mrs. Partridge?
Please, not just before I go to sleep.
It won't work. I know it won't.
Let's talk about it in the morning, darling.
He just won't fit in. They won't accept him.
Liz, I've been driving all day. Please.
Can you imagine Mr. Ramdan at the Eastham Allen Motel?
He might do very well here.
What do you mean?
He comes from India. He might know how to sleep on a bed of nails. There it is, Liz. Old house, but a very good buy.
Dan, I remember this house. I think I do. We used to pass it when we drove over toward Bellows Falls. I remember the shutters.
Come on, let's get in there before we freeze solid.
You don't mind the cold here as much, Ben.
I know. It's dry. Come on.
What's the name of the owner?
Jeremy Gale.
Is he a lawyer?
I think so.
I'll bet I knew him. At least I used to see him at town meetings. I think he was a select man one year.
I saw you drive up. Come on in.
Thank you.
Stamp your feet, Ben.
I got a fire going inside.
Oh, we need it.
Mr. Marriott, I expect.
That's right, sir. This is Mrs. Marriott. She comes from Cardiff.
Oh? Moved away?
Yes, I live in New York now.
Well, I suppose you had good reason.
I remember you, though, Mr. Gale, from town meeting.
You do? I don't remember you.
Oh, that'd be 20 years ago. Elizabeth Walker.
Walker. Alan Walker's daughter?
Yes.
I knew your pa well. Real Vermonter. Well, now, Miss Marriott, I suppose you're authorized to handle the sale.
Yes, I've final authority.
I suppose you wonder why I'm selling. Well, I'm getting old. How old would you say I was?
Oh, I don't know, really.
You're scared of guessing high and hurt my feelings. Well, I'm 72. That's too old to be stuck out on a dirt road in mud time.
I understand, sir.
I got no family. Since I retired from the law, I've been trying to farm on this piece. Raised hogs so skinny I had to tie knots in their tails to keep them from squeezing out twixt the pickets in the pen.
You mean this isn't a productive farm?
I got fields so steep, when I plowed them with a team of horses, one horse had to ride on the other. Had chickens so thin it took two of them to cast a shadow.
Do you expect to move into town, Mr. Gale?
Yep. Renting a room across from the Methodist Church. Come and go as I please. Independent as a hog on ice.
I thought we'd drive over to the county seat this afternoon, Mr. Gale, and search the records and then finish up by evening.
Well, I ain't so sure.
I beg your pardon?
I ain't talked about terms. Or the mortgage I took out 4 years ago. And I got some thinking to do this morning, too. I tell you what, you come back this afternoon.
But
I'll be ready to do business with you then.
Well, all right. We'll see you then, Mr. Gale.
It was nice seeing you again, Mr. Gale.
Find what you was looking for?
What?
When you moved away from Cardiff.
can't understand it. Why is he stalling?
Oh, he's got some reason. People up here don't do things in a hurry, especially selling land.
He couldn't be trying to run up the price.
Oh, Ben.
What?
Across the street is Aunt Hattie.
Who's Aunt Hattie?
Mine. I mean, not a real aunt, a courtesy aunt. She knew us when we were children. Oh, she's seen us.
Are you sure?
Aunt Hattie has an eye like an eagle. It used to be famous.
She's coming over here.
She's a sweet old lady, but she used to listen on the party line. And, hello, Aunt Hattie. Isn't it exciting seeing you again?
Elizabeth Walker, it is you. I thought so. I could tell even with that hat.
You're looking fine, Aunt Hattie.
I keep busy. You're not looking well.
I'm not?
Figured.
Well, we can't all keep as well as you do.
No, you can't. Not breathing that mixture of poison and soft cool they call air down in New York. You do live in New York now.
Why, yes, I do.
I heard that. Your mother wrote me. Said you were married to some city lawyer. I cried and cried when I read that. I told everybody it seemed such a shame. I remember you in high school. Showed such promise.
Aunt Hattie, this is my husband, Ben Marriott.
How do you do?
Oh, we were just talking about you.
I know. I heard.
You ought to take care of Elizabeth.
Oh, well, haven't I?
What about her teeth?
Well, what about her teeth?
You know, as long as you're up here, Elizabeth, you ought to drop into Dr. Hempstead's for a checkup.
But I have a dentist in New York, Aunt Hattie.
Well, I wouldn't want to say a word against him, but...
I have every confidence in my dentist, Aunt Hattie.
All the same, it wouldn't hurt to make sure. Oh, and you could drop in at Galton and Pierce. They're having a sale on hats.
Well, I got this hat at Hunt's Fifth Avenue.
I thought as much. I went shopping down to Boston once. Didn't buy a thing.
Why not?
I can do just as well here in Cardiff without all that fancy folderol. Oh, Elizabeth, open your mouth. Say ah.
Ah.
I thought so. That New York air has your throat all inflamed. You drop into Dr. Whitcomb and get it painted with Argyrol.
But I'm all right, really.
He may not have a fancy office on Park Avenue in New York, but Dr. Whitcomb brought you into the world right here in Cardiff. He never left it. Well, goodbye.
Goodbye, Aunt Hattie.
Goodbye, Aunt Hattie.
Hi, Mrs. Holcomb, thank you. Goodbye.
Dan, I'm so furious.
What's the matter?
My dentist is the top man in the Columbia School of Dentistry. I mean, Dr. Hempstead is a very good dentist, too, but so is mine in New York.
I know, dear.
But she just assumes he can't be. Ben, don't you understand?
Understand what?
What they're all saying. They think I betrayed something because I moved away.
Oh, now, Liz,
It's true. I remember it so well. I think that's why I came down to New York to work after college. I was so cold, there wasn't any warmth here anywhere.
Now, don't get upset, Liz. It isn't true anyway. You can't blame a whole state for your individual feelings.
Ben, it isn't individual. They don't approve of you because you're from New York, and they don't warm up to me because I left Cardiff. That's why Mr. Gale delayed the sale. I know it is. If they're prejudiced against me, how do you think they'll feel about an Indian with a beard?
Mr. Gale's a lawyer.
Lawyers aren't immune.
Look, Liz, you grew up here. You're all tied up with it emotionally. You had a hard time breaking away. I can see this with a more objective viewpoint.
You don't know them as well as I do. He'll make excuses. He won't sell them, Mr. Ramdan. I know he won't.
Why shouldn't he?
He won't. You'll see.
Well, now, Mr. Marriott, I've been thinking.
You have?
I could sell this place to you just as easy as a eel going through a bucket cream.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. For rights, I ought to move into town, where that pill peddler Whitcomb can get to me easy.
Well, that's fine. Then we can get down to business.
But I ain't going to sell.
You're not?
No, I changed my mind.
But you advertised. We came all the way up here from New York.
Yeah, well, now, I'm sorry to inconvenience you, but things has changed.
Oh.
I just don't want to sell.
Oh, I see. Why not?
Sentiment, I guess.
Sentiment?
Yeah. You see, this place was raised by my grandfather. It belonged to my father till he died. I just decided I didn't want somebody else living here. Not while I was alive.
Well, I don't suppose there's anything else to say.
No, I don't suppose there is.
I think there is.
Liz,
No, Ben, let me alone.
Liz, please.
I'm just stiff, Ben. I can't stand it anymore. Mr. Gale, why? Why don't you sell? I listened and I tried to think of a reason. I didn't want to. I couldn't face the truth.
You couldn't, eh?
No, I think it's a shame. You don't want to sell because Mr. Ramdan is different, because he's foreign, because he wears a beard and a turban.
Well, now, I didn't say that.
No, you didn't. You were just hypocritical. You made excuses. You weren't even honest enough to admit you didn't want a man like that in Cardiff.
Liz, please, you don't mean
I
to
do
upset...
mean it. I felt it ever since we came here. I wanted to come back, but you made me glad I left. I don't ever want to come back. I'm ashamed.
Well, now...
I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Gale.
And following these words from your favorite station, we'll have the conclusion of The Marriage, January 10th, 1954. I'm Wyatt Cox. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater right here on your favorite station.
What does it mean to be an American? Just what are our American values? Working hard to succeed, loving God, country, and family, being honest, strong, and compassionate.
Supporting our Constitution and recognizing that we are blessed to be living in America, the greatest country in the world.
Our Bill of Rights protects us, our freedoms of worship, speech, and privacy, our right to own firearms, our right to trial by jury,
our right to be free, to live our own lives without some bureaucrat telling us what to do. Most countries don't have these rights.
Want to know more? It's all there in the book. Get your own free book, The U.S. Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. Then read it again, and this time share it with your friends. Our great Constitution is the basis of all of our freedoms, our inalienable rights. Get your own copy at freeusbook.com.
Brought to you by the American Media Council.
Thanks for joining us here for Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station. Now the conclusion of The Marriage, starring Hume-Cronyn and Jessica-Tandy, from January 10th, 1954.
However, I suppose I feel the same way.
Yeah, well, before you go launching into an oration, too, maybe you folks didn't consider that I wasn't making excuses.
Then why won't you sell?
I said why. Maybe it got lost in the shuffle, but... you might recollect nobody told me this client of Mr. Marriott's was an Injun, with or without a beard.
Oh.
You know, around here, we may be old-fashioned and state-proud. We don't make too much of a fuss over anything. We figure if our neighbor makes a darn fool of himself, why, that's his business. But he's got a right to it. Same way any fellow's got a right to live next door. He's got a right to wear whatever he pleases on his head. Inside his head, for that matter. And if I don't like it, why, no law says I got to listen.
But I was sure.
Yeah. Well, the way it stands now, you ain't likely to believe me, so, Mr. Marriott, you draw up the bill of sale.
Well, you're selling to Mr. Ramdan?
Yeah. Miss Marriott, there's some things I take serious. Cooking, cigars, and the state of Vermont. I got something over here. Wrote down on a shirt cardboard over the desk here. Listen to this. If the spirit of liberty should vanish in the United States and our institutions should languish, it could all be restored by the generous store held by the people in this brave little state of Vermont. Know who said that?
No, I don't.
Calvin Coolidge. He was a Vermonter. He said his piece, like the rest of us do. Just like the winter. Cold, but you don't mind it because it's dry.
I suppose I don't know what to say.
In that case, don't say nothing.
Mr. Gale.
And you neither. Just don't go telling anybody you're ashamed of the place you was born. Anyway, I know what 'tis to be a foreigner myself.
You do?
Yeah. My grandfather come from New Hampshire.
Ben and Liz Marriott will be back in just a moment. In the meantime, let us extend an invitation to all of you to drop by next week at this time for another half-hour observation and transcription of The Marriage, written by Ernest Benoit. In tonight's cast of The Marriage, Parker family was heard as Mr. Gale. Margaret Hamilton played Mrs. Partridge. Benjamin was played by William Liston, and Charmé Allen was heard as Aunt Hattie. The Marriage is an NBC Radio Network production directed by Edward King. This is Bob Denton speaking.
Liz, we got a letter today from Mr. Ramdan.
How does he like Vermont?
Oh, he says it's wonderful, just like the Himalayas. You don't mind the cold, it's dry.
The series The Marriage was based on their earlier Tony Award-winning Broadway play, The Four-Poster, and the show was a delight. By the way, if you hear their teenage daughter in this series, it was soap opera star Denise Alexander, best known for her role as Leslie Weber on General Hospital. And ironically, both hume-cronyn and Jessica-Tandy dying of cancer. Tandy dying in 1994 from ovarian cancer at the age of 85, and Cronyn dying from prostate cancer 1 month before his 92nd birthday. The Marriage, a beautiful, delightful, sweet show from Jessica-Tandy and hume-cronyn, January 10th, 1954, on Classic Radio Theater. Mike Lindell, the inveterate CEO of MyPillow, wants to give back to listeners. You can get great discounts on all MyPillow products if you go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener special. Deep discounts on all MyPillow products, like the buy one, get one free special on Giza Dream Sheets. All MyPillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty. Call 1-800-951-8175 or go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener special. Use my promo code USA. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater here on your favorite station. Now, part 2 of the 5-part yours truly Johnny Dollar story, The Todd Matter. This episode originally broadcast January 10th, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for Johnny Dollar.
Dan Mape's New York Police Department, Mr. Dollar.
Oh, hi.
I just went over your statement to the officers who went to the scene of the shooting. Pretty rough business.
Yeah. How's the girl?
She hasn't regained consciousness. We've got to get on with this, Dollar. There's some questions I want to ask you.
Sure. Glad to do what I can. Where can I meet you?
What's the matter with right here at headquarters?
Okay. Say in about an hour?
Make it a half an hour. I said I want to get on with the case. Room 212, Sergeant Daniel Mapes.
Okay, Sergeant. I'll be there.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Four State Insurance Company, Wilmington, Delaware. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Todd Matter, a burglary that occurred 6 months ago, but the murder try occurred only a few hours ago. Expense account item 6, $16.40, one telegram. From me to Chief Investigator Don Freed, Four State Insurance. I explained events up to date and requested that Freed contact their New York office and employ counsel for me in the event the New York police chose to hold me as a material witness in the shooting of Gloria Tierney.
We aren't going to hold you. Why should we?
I don't know. Why should you?
Sit down. Take it easy.
Okay, thanks.
So, you're a freelance insurance investigator.
Yeah, that's right.
Working for Four State out of Wilmington, huh?
That's right.
Okay, suppose you give it to me.
Well, you got it right in front of you there in that report. I told it to the investigating officers right after the shooting last night.
Now you tell it to me.
All right. I made an appointment to meet this girl. She called me about 12 o'clock midnight, and I went on over to her apartment. She wasn't around when I got there, so I waited and talked to her landlady. A few minutes later, I saw her coming across the street. I went over to meet her because she looked like she'd been hurt or something. I walked her back across the street. Somebody pulled up in a car just as we got to the curbing.
Says here, Black Caddy, 1955 Coupe de Ville.
Yeah, I didn't pay too much attention.
What was the license number?
Couldn't tell. It was blacked out.
Okay, go on.
There was a man in it. I didn't see his face. Didn't even notice him, really. He just started shooting. The girl was hit 3 times. I was trying to help her, and he got away.
Well, what else?
That's it.
Okay. Tell me why you were in here yesterday afternoon checking to see if this Gloria Tierney had a record.
I was about to contact her. I wanted to know if she'd ever been in trouble.
Now tell me what you're working on.
The Todd case.
Todd?
Yeah, burglary out in Long Island about 6-7 months ago. I had reason to believe the girl might be able to help me on it.
Because of what?
Because of her mink coat.
Well, I'm glad you answered that way, Dollar. The coat's in the lab now. They're looking it over. We found it listed in our stolen property files. So far, your story's okay, but believe me, it isn't over yet.
Huh?
Tell me more. We know about the coat. We want to know about the girl who was wearing it.
Sorry, I can't help you.
We didn't have her prints on file here, but we sent them off to Washington. She's still unconscious. She's in pretty bad shape. She can't talk. You can. What's her angle?
I don't know.
You don't know who shot her. You didn't get the license number. You just stood there and let it happen. All you were interested in was your mink coat.
Look,
Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I might be through trying to tell you anything, pal.
Don't get smarty pants with me, Dollar. I got myself a shooting to straighten out. I'll straighten it out any way I can. What else did she have from the Todd business?
You tell me.
Nothing. A small diamond ring on a little finger. It's not on the stolen property list. Tell me, Dollar, did your insurance company pay off this claim?
Yes, the whole thing. About $75,000.
$75,000?
That's right.
Well, at least you got the coat back. Even if it has got 3 bullet holes in it.
Maybe we'll get a line on the whole job.
If she regains consciousness. Meanwhile, you can sit here and tell me about your tip.
What?
Who put you on to Gloria Tierney?
No, I'm afraid I can't tell you that.
Why not?
Because I promised not to disclose any names.
Oh,
I can tell you this much, though. The man who told me about Gloria Tierney couldn't possibly have had anything to do with the Todd case. He was in prison when it happened.
Let's have his name so I can check it.
He's in Indiana now.
He's got a name in Indiana. What is it?
Sorry.
You going to sit there and tell me he gave you a name to start with and that's all you bought?
Yep.
Suppose I told you I don't believe anything. And then I think I'll hold you for a while until you forget about whatever deal you made with an ex-con.
Well, suppose I told you that a lawyer for my insurance company is on his way down here right now just to see that I get treated right. What's funny?
You insurance guys. You know what? You give me a pain. Right here.
We went on like that a little while. Then I accompanied Sergeant Mapes to Gloria Tierney's apartment. A full crew of technicians were there, giving the premises a complete check. Mapes dispatched 2 sets of detectives to cover the neighborhood for possible witnesses to the shooting. Another pair began to cover the apartment house itself. I went with Mapes to talk to the manager, Mrs. Stromberg. She looked white and shaken.
You remember, Mr. Dollar?
Yes. Hello, Mr. Dollar. How's poor Gloria?
Not very good, Mrs. Stromberg. She's still unconscious.
And we're still pretty much in the dark about all this, Mrs. Stromberg.
Where is she? What hospital? I'd like to go see her. Maybe there's something I can do.
Best thing you can do is try to help us find out who shot her.
She's at the police emergency hospital right now, Mrs. Stromberg. I'll have them phone you when she can see people.
Thank you. Oh, what an awful thing. Well, what's it all about? Why would anyone want to shoot Gloria?
We hope we can ask her that question. Right now, we're going to try to find out all we can, and maybe you can help us.
Well, I hope so. What can I tell you?
Where she worked, how she lived, what people she knew.
Oh, dear.
Yesterday, you told me you'd known her for a year.
Yes, ever since she moved in.
All right. Was she a nice girl?
Of course she was a nice girl. Quiet, minded her own business.
Where's she work at?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Gloria doesn't work as far as I know.
Who pays her rent?
She always gave me a check.
Who gave her a check?
Well, I really don't know.
Don't you know anything? What's the matter with you?
Well, I'm trying.
Mapes, why don't you go sit down?
All right, I'll sit down here.
Mrs. Stromberg, what can you tell us about her? Do you know where we can contact her family?
Think about it.
Well, I don't know. I know they live in California somewhere, but that's all I do know. She talked about them now and then.
Uh-huh. How about her friends here in town?
What about them?
Well, for instance, the man who drove the black Cadillac last night.
I never saw that car around here before.
Did she talk about her friends to you?
Why, no.
Well, she's a pretty girl, young. Boyfriends?
Oh, yes, she did talk about them now and then. Do you suppose one of them had something to do with this?
Mrs. Stromberg, some guy pulled up in a black caddy last night and pumped 3 slugs into her. She acted funny before that, according to you. Run out when she was supposed to meet Dollar here. Don't you know if any of her friends drove a car like that?
No.
You know this, but you don't know that. What kind of a friend were you?
What?
What kind of a friend were you? That girl's lying in a hospital right now. She's got a slug here, another one here, and here. They've operated twice. You weep and holler and stand around wringing your hands about her, but you won't open your mouth about helping us find who did it. Now, let's start with that car again. You've got the front apartment here. You can see the street from those 2 windows. Have you ever seen that black caddy here before?
Yes.
Well, why didn't you say so in the first place? Whose is it?
I don't know. I don't know his full name.
Well, what do you know about him?
His name is Bill something.
Bill something.
Yes?
That's a big help. What does he look like? Where does he work? What does he do?
I don't know. I really don't know. She never introduced me to him, but she talked about him. She'd say, Bill's coming by tonight, or Bill did this, or Bill did that, but she never mentioned his last name.
But he drove the caddy.
Yes.
Now, what does he look like?
I told you, she never introduced me.
I heard that part. But I know if someone young and fresh and pretty like Gloria Tierney lived across the hall from my wife would be at the window every time she heard the bell ring or heard a car drive up out front. She'd want to see who was buying her the candy and flowers, who was knocking on the door. Isn't that so, Mrs. Stromberg?
Yes. No. Yes.
Well, what do you mean? Now, look. For the 3rd time, what does this guy Bill look like?
Well, he's tall and very dark.
Tall? What does that mean? Tall like me? Tall like Dollar? Tall like what?
Like Mr. Dollar.
How old? How'd he dress? What kind of build?
Easy, Mapes.
Why don't you go through that offering me to sit down part now?
All right. I was wrong about you, Mapes. I admit it.
Well, maybe I was kind of wrong about you, Dollar. Hardly anybody ever admits anything these days. Okay. I'm sorry I'm raising my voice, Mrs. Stromberg. But tell us about the man. All you can remember about Bill.
Heavy? Light?
A husky fella, and he dressed very nicely, too.
What color was his hair?
Dark, I think. He always wore a hat.
How about his eyes?
I don't know.
Uh-huh. About how old would you say?
Oh, 30, maybe 35. I'm not very good at ages.
How often did he come here to see her?
Oh, once or twice a week.
Gloria's been going with him?
Yes.
Did she ever mention where he works or what he does?
No, she never mentioned that.
Do you have any idea how long she's known him? How long she's been going with him?
Well, I have no idea. I just know he's been coming to see her ever since she moved in here.
This, Bill. Would you say he had money, Mrs. Stromberg?
Yes, I'd say so. He drove that big, expensive car and always dressed so nice. And, of course, he gave Gloria that coat.
The mink coat?
Yes.
Hmm. Do you know if he ever gave her any jewelry?
I don't know. I don't think so. Gloria'd usually run across the hall and show me when he gave her something. Mostly they were small gifts, candy, and things like that, but I don't remember if he ever gave her any jewelry.
Did he ever bring any friends here?
I don't know.
All right. Was Gloria going to marry him?
Oh, she never talked about it.
You sure about that?
Yes, she never said, and I never asked.
Why? Why not?
Well, I don't know. I never asked her. I wanted to, but I never asked her. You think right away I've been a busybody watching that girl and so on. Well, yes, I watched her from time to time, and I was her friend here. But there are some things we just didn't talk about.
There sure were.
Well, as you ask me questions, I realize how much we didn't talk about. I can't tell you where she came from or where her family is or who Bill is or what she planned for the future. I just know she was a nice, decent, honest sort of a girl.
Yes, we got that impression, Mrs. Stromberg. Anything you want to ask, Dollar?
No.
My apologies again for raising my voice. Thank you for the information, Mrs. Stromberg. Come on, Dollar.
Okay. Goodbye.
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 Well, you got it out of her.
Yeah, but I don't trust her. Took too much work.
Are you really as tough as you look?
Sure.
You're a good cop, Mapes.
Thanks. I like to have somebody mention that every 5 years. Well, better get out this guy's description.
Yeah. There's a hall phone right there.
Uh-huh. Well, we sure haven't got much to go on. Communications, please. Yes, Dan Mapes. I want an APB out on... What? Oh, I'll give it to you later. Johnny, the hospital phoned in 2 minutes ago.
Gloria.
Yes. They think she's dying.
There'll be another intriguing episode in our story of the Todd Matter tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I take some lessons from a good policeman on how to find out what has to be found out. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by John Dawson, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Be sure and join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
From January 10th, 1956, yours truly, Johnny Dollar, on Classic Radio Theater. We hope you come visit my webpage, classicradio.stream. There you can learn about Classic Radio Theater collecting. You can also track all of our shows just by going to classicradio.stream. If you miss a day, you don't have to miss a show. And you can also contact me through that page. Find all our social media information. That's at classicradio.stream. Classicradio.stream. And a reminder, our podcasts are out there. If you miss a day on this radio station, you don't have to miss a show. Simply search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks so much for making us a part of your day. Would you do me a favor also and thank this radio station and support their advertisers? It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every day that we come around here. All right, and please tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the radio dial. Classic Radio Theater right here on your favorite radio station.